Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter number 13. We start a new chapter today, text 1 and 2. Arjuna Uvacha Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Kshetram Kshetrajnam Evacha Etad Veditam Ichchami Jnanam Gneyam Cha Keshava Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Idam Shariram Kaunteya Kshetram Iti Abhidhiyate Etad Yo Veti Tam Prahu Kshetrajna iti tad vidaha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Arjuna said, "O my dear Krishna, I wish to know about Prakriti or nature, Purusha or the enjoyer, and the field and the knower of the field and of knowledge and the object of knowledge." The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "This body, O son of Kunti, is called the field. And one who knows this body is called the knower of the field." Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So this is a very interesting chapter, and especially the first 4 verses, 1 through 4, we not only learn what should be the purpose of our life, what's the meaning of this human form of life, but we also will learn if we are the proprietor of our bodies. You see, we are so attached to the body. Are we the proprietor? Now, in this verse, 2 verses that we read, first Arjuna is asking a few questions. He wants to know what is Prakriti, which means the material nature. Then he wants to know who's the Purusha, the enjoyer. That is, of course, the Supreme Lord Krishna. He wants to know the kshetra, the field of activities, and that is this body. We use this body to perform certain, not all actions, actually, not certain, but all actions. We use this body to perform those actions. And who is the knower, the kshetragna? That is the spirit soul. The soul within the body is the knower of this body. As soon as the soul leaves the body is useless. There's nothing anyone can do with that body because the consciousness in the body was there because of the spirit soul. Now, Arjuna also wants to know what is knowledge. And it's very simple. If one can understand the difference between body and soul, Krishna says that is knowledge. And what is the object of knowledge? Excuse me, the object of knowledge is the Supreme Lord Krishna. So Krishna is going to answer Arjuna's questions in more detail in the following verses. But then he says, this is my opinion. That's the opinion of the Supreme Lord. And there's no one above God because he has no one equal or no one above him. Now, this body, which is the field of activities, unfortunately, is conditioned. And it is like the spirit soul is entrapped in this body. You know, it's like somebody putting us in a prison. So then we are kind of conditioned in there. There's nothing we can do. We don't have any freedom. So when the soul is entrapped in the body, then the bodily consciousness starts working. Then we think about the body only. How to please the body, how to satisfy the senses, how to give pleasure to this body. It's all about the body consciousness. And in that process, the living entity, the soul, starts wanting to enjoy. wanting to lord it over. Like, I want to control. I want to control my spouse, my children, my colleagues, my friends, my relatives, my everybody. We just want to lord it over. You see? So this field of activities, which is this body, it is made up of senses. And the senses, they want to enjoy. You see, eyes want to see something nice, ears want to hear something nice, the tongue wants to taste something. So all these senses, they are wanting to enjoy. And we have got this field of activities, this body, based on our past karma. We see all of us who are there on Zoom and on Facebook, we all have different bodies. You see, look wise, nature wise, everything different. And it is all, we got this particular body based on our past activities, which is called past karma. So if we are conditioned, if we are on the bodily concept, then how can we become self-realized? How can we understand what are we doing in this human body, in this material world? You see, because of the conditioning, most people do not understand the purpose of human life. And they don't even understand why, the meaning to this human body. So the spirit soul should not identify with the body, because the soul is part of the Lord. Mamai Vamsha Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. That this spirit soul is part. Krishna says, Mamai, mine. The spirit soul is my Amsha. Amsha means part. The soul is my part. And because the Supreme Lord is spiritual, transcendental, the spirit soul is the same quality. You see? But because it is entrapped in this body, it is conditioned. Now we need to understand, Krishna tells Arjuna that this body is changing. Do we look like what we looked like when we were 5 years old? No. We look totally different. You see, this body goes through 6 changes throughout our life. So it takes birth, that means body is born, then it stays for some time, it grows, then it also produces byproducts like children, right? And then it also starts dwindling, which means old age, and then it vanishes, which means the death. So the body is changing, but the spirit soul stays the same. So if we can somehow or the other understand this knowledge, the difference between body and soul, this we already learned in chapter 2 in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, but Krishna keeps repeating it because it is very, very important. So once we start understanding difference between body and soul, then we need to give up these bodily designations. You see, stop identifying with the body. You see, like I am Indian, I am this color, I am from this country, I am a CEO of the company, I am, all these are bodily designations. You see? So we need to understand the difference between body and soul. So Krishna is trying to explain to Arjuna that this body is a field of activities. The knower of the body is the spirit soul, which is inside the body. And we are the knowers of only our bodies. I do not know what's going on in your body or in your mind. Don't we wish we could see, understand what's going on in other people's minds? Premanjali says no. We have enough in our mind to be thinking about other people's minds, right? But just like we only know what's going on in our body, but not other bodies, but Krishna, the Supreme Lord, he is a knower of all the bodies. He knows everything that's going on in the mind, in the heart, in the body of every living entity, not just human beings, all living entities. You see? So Krishna is say from chapter 1 through 6 that we studied, Krishna talked a lot about the spirit soul, and also that the spirit soul is the actual knower, and also how we can understand him. This is what he tried to teach us from chapter 1 through 6. Now, chapter 7 through 12, which we've already concluded, Krishna explained about himself and our relationship with him. And chapter 12, the previous chapter, which is entitled Devotional Service, he explained to us how to perform loving devotional service to him. He explained that he is the supreme and we are subordinate to him. You see, the Srila Prabhupada says, because we have forgotten our identity, we've forgotten that we are spirit souls, we've forgotten we have a relationship with the Supreme Lord. That is why we are suffering. And because we've forgotten the Supreme Lord, we've forgotten life's purpose and meaning. We're just engaged in enjoying the senses, trying to find different ways to please the senses. What can I buy? Where can I go that is going to give me more pleasure? But with the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita, we can revive our original consciousness, which is to love Krishna, to love the Supreme Lord. You see? And for that, we need to approach him, right? Say, I want to love somebody, then I need to approach that person. And in chapter 7, Krishna says, there are 4 kinds of people who approach me. Chaturvida bhajante man. Chatur means 4. Jana sukritino Arjuna. Sukritino means pious. So only those who have performed piety in their past, they get the opportunity to hear Bhagavad Gita. They get the opportunity to progress spiritually. And who are those 4 kinds of people? Those who are in distress, those who are in need of knowledge, those who are, so Jana Sukrita. So what are the 4s? One is distress, one is who's looking for knowledge, one who wants money. Krishna says, if you want money, come to me. And those who are inquisitive. These are the 4 kinds of people who surrender to the Lord, who approach him, who want to understand. They want to understand, who am I? Do we ever ask that question? If someone asks us, who are you? The first thing we say is, oh, I'm Gita. My name is Gita. And that's the name of this body. But I'm the spirit soul. Of course, if somebody asks me, I cannot say, hey, I'm spirit soul. They'll think I'm nuts, because they don't have the knowledge. But we ourselves need to understand that actually I am the spirit soul. And now that I know I'm different from the body, what do I need to do? Well, figure out what's the ultimate goal of life. The ultimate goal of life is to understand who I am, what is the purpose of my being in this human body, and what am I supposed to do? Right? So Krishna continues. In fact, in this chapter, he will explain how we living entities, we come in contact with this material nature, and how we, after being contaminated in this material nature, we can be delivered. You see, it's called mukti, liberation, how we can be delivered by Krishna through the process of bhakti yoga. So this whole chapter, we are going to study 3 topics. One is who is Lord, the living entity, and material nature, the matter. You see, in chapter 2, we learned there are 2 bodies. One is this gross body that we can see, and another is a subtle body, which is within the heart. Subtle means we can't see, it's within the heart. And that subtle body consists of mind, intelligence, and false ego. You see? So in the heart, there is the subtle body, there is the spirit soul, and then there is the super soul inside. And that is the Supreme Lord, Krishna. He is situated in everyone's heart as the super soul. And that's in Sanskrit called Paramatma. Now, Arjuna's question also was, what is knowledge? So Krishna says those who study the field of activity, that means study this body, and who study the knower of the field very minutely as per the Bhagavad Gita, which means the spirit soul, that person, Krishna says, attains knowledge. Theoretically, it's very easy to understand. I'm not this body. That's so simple. I'm not this body, I'm the spirit soul. How to practically understand, for that, we need to follow the process of bhakti yoga. Bhakti means devotion. Yoga means connecting with the Supreme through devotion. So first of all, we will need to, of course, understand difference between body and soul, but also understand I am not the proprietor of this body. I am the secondary proprietor. This body is given to us by the Supreme Lord on a lease. You see, when we lease an apartment, we have a certain time period that we can stay in that apartment. Similarly, we also have this body on lease. So we will need to stay in this body till that lease expires, and then we have to leave this body. So if we really want to break the cycle of birth and death, coming back again and going back again, then we would need to understand the purpose of human form of life. Understand we are not the proprietors. You see? And the Supreme Lord situated in our heart, He is there. Of course, He's a witness, but He's there to guide us. But are we ready to take that guidance? He's a supreme father. We are his children. He's ready to help us. He's ready to teach us life's lessons. But are we ready to take it? I was listening to a class where Maharaj was saying that Steve Jobs, we all know who Steve Jobs, right? The owner of Apple. And Steve Jobs was 7 years old. And when he was that little boy, his father asked him to help him paint the fence around their house. And he was an obedient boy, so he painted. And then he wanted his father to come and examine if he had done a good job. His father said, very nice, but you've only painted the outside. What about the inside of the fence? He said, who's going to see? Nobody sees inside of the fence. Everybody sees from outside. Father said, no, he gave him a life lesson. He said, but we can see the inside, right? We can see the inside of the fence. So we have to do both. We have to do inner work, and that inner work will have an outer impact. So we need to work inside. That means purify the heart. And purification of the heart is possible through the process of bhakti yoga. When we do mantra meditation, the heart gets purified. All the unwanted things from the heart, they start coming out, like lust, anger, greed, pride, and everything starts coming out, and the heart is pure. That's inner work. And that will have an outer impact. So Bhagavad Gita is showing us how to work inside the inner part, right? So first of all, we need to understand the distinction between field of activities, which is this body, and the knower of the field of activities, which is the spirit soul, and the supreme knower, that is Krishna, the Supreme Lord. So when we try to take this knowledge about the body and soul, that is called jnana or knowledge. And Krishna says, that is my opinion. So we need to understand the position of the material nature, position of the spirit soul, position of the supreme soul. And there should be no confusion at all. Just like Prabhupada says, there should be no confusion between the painter, the painting, and the painting brush. They are all different, right? So similarly, we need to understand, and out of the two knowers, the soul and the super soul, one is fallible and the other is infallible. Now, it's not rocket science to understand who's infallible, who's the one who makes no mistakes. Obviously, that is the super soul. One is superior. So, one, we as living entities, the spirit souls, we cannot be on the same level as the super soul. We will learn in chapter 15 of this Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, Sarvasya chaham hridi sani vishto. I am situated in everyone's heart as a super soul. See? So to be able to really realize or become self-realized, we would need to follow the process given in the Bhagavad Gita. You see, this material body is made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether, right? That's how it's constituted. And it keeps changing. Like I mentioned, we don't look like what we were 5 years when we were 5 years old. We look different because the body has grown. But the spirit soul is still the same. And after the soul leaves the body will again perish into earth, water, fire, air, ether, right? So important to understand that if the body is going through these six changes, it is born, it grows, it stays, it produces byproducts like children, it dwindles and then vanishes away. So then what is the ultimate goal of this body? This ultimate goal of this body is to become self-realized. It's to help the soul to use these senses in becoming self-realized. That is the purpose. Not do just the basic activities which even the animals do, like eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Well, animals do that, but we have philosophical intelligence. So what do we need to do? We need to use that philosophical intelligence and understand I am not the proprietor of this body. It's the Supreme Lord Krishna who's the proprietor. See? And when we take this knowledge from Bhagavad Gita and we put it into practice, then we will really understand the purpose of life. See, this human life is meant for self-realization. Just like when we buy a gadget or we buy a new car, right? A very posh car, say a sports car. Along with that comes an owner's manual that tells us how to use that car. Similarly, this body is like a machine and it's very complicated. We cannot tell what's going on inside the body. Even the doctors sometimes find it difficult to figure out what's going on in the body. So it's a very complicated machine. And along with that comes an owner's manual, which is the Bhagavad Gita. And it tells us, gives us knowledge how to use this complicated machinery. And we have the intelligence. Our intelligence is better than the intelligence of the animals. So we can use this intelligence to put an end to all the miseries that we may be facing in our lives. And Bhakti Yoga is the easiest method to become self-realized. Very easy. So today, verses 1 through 4, we have understood the first of all, Arjuna is inquiring, which is a sign of intelligence. When we ask questions, that is a sign of intelligence. Now, that doesn't mean if we don't ask questions, we are not intelligent. No. So Arjuna is inquiring for our benefit so that we can understand what is the kshetra, like the field of activities, which is the body, what is kshetragna, the knower of the field of activities, knower of the body, that is the spirit soul. What is knowledge? What is the object of knowledge? Knowledge is to understand difference between body and soul. Object of knowledge is to know the supreme law, Krishna, right? So this process that is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita about how we can purify our senses, how we can purify our mind, how we can purify our hearts. When we put that knowledge into practice, when we follow the process given in the Bhagavad Gita, then there will be complete purification. Then there will be realization. So theory plus practice equals to wisdom. Then we will become wise. Then we'll say, aha, this is the purpose of human form of life. Right now we know theoretically, but we need to put it into practice. And that practice is bhakti yoga. And the first step of bhakti yoga is mantra meditation. Man means mind, tra means to free the mind of all anxieties. You see, so when we chant the holy names of the Lord, we are gradually purifying our heart, our mind, our senses, our body. And then one day there's going to be a realization. Then we will actually realize I'm not this body, but I'm the spirit soul. So, as we always do, I would like to chant at least 10 times the Maha Mantra so that we can, of course, when you are at home, you can chant on your own, but it is good to, just like we eat every day, just like we you know sleep every day, just like we work every day, similarly we should chant, do this mantra meditation on a daily basis. That way we will be able to purify the heart. I can see that I think Justin has come for the first time. Welcome to all of you. And I'm going to post some links, and if you're interested you can join. And then towards the end is the mantra to meditate upon. So please chant with me. I'll just chant 10 times to give you an idea how to chant, and then you can chant as much as possible during the day. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. So you see, it's very, very simple. There are 108 beats in this whole mala, and we chant on each beat the whole Maha Mantra. It takes about 10 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes, not too much. So I would really humbly request you to please chant. And these are very powerful sound vibrations that enter into our ears and go straight to the heart and purify the heart. So it's my humble request, please chant as much as you can. So I will end now. If anyone has any questions or comments, you are very welcome to ask, and welcome to all of you to today's class.
Hare Krishna.